Hello, greetings from Guatemala. My name is Maite Rodríguez Blandón. I'm based here. I'm working in Fundación Guatemala, a national organization and member of Huairou Commission. We are working, developing some different initiatives that I'm gonna be happy to share with all of you today, especially in our way to work for a local adaptation process. We are trying to implement different initiatives, and we are working especially with grassroots women leaders, developing different tools and mechanisms. One of the two mechanisms I want to share with you today is the Community Resilience Fund that you're going to be listening in different presentations today in the panel. The TCRF that we are naming like that is operating in 21 countries across Latin America, Asia, and Africa. Initially, it was piloted with grassroots women organizations in Guatemala, India, Nicaragua, Honduras, and Peru. This was in 2008. And then, just to mention why this is so important for grassroots women leaders and for communities, because women are developing resilience practices that really are reducing the vulnerability they are facing and also the disaster threats. They are really working on local adaptation, trying to implement with their resources and designing the intervention. That's a very important area that we want to mention. Also, they are supporting the self-empowerment through these initiatives because they are doing different kind of advocacy processes with local authorities, with national authorities, with regional bodies as well. We have another mechanism. The other one is mentioning that I want to mention is the Community Practitioners Platform for Resilience. This is a platform created by grassroots. Para ahí y volvemos a empezar. Our second mechanism is the Community Practitioners Platform for Resilience. This is hosted by different organizations, especially grassroots women organizations. And no, espérate, quitarle ese pedacito, no, mejor ese pedacito no me. The second mechanism I want to share with all of you is the Community Practitioners Platform for Resilience. This was created in the UNDRR global platform in 2011 with the participation of the grassroots women organizations, working there with different other stakeholders. These platforms are operating at local, national, regional, and global level. And we are very happy that most of the organizations implementing the Community Resilience Fund are also members of this Community Practitioners Platform, and they are also convening different stakeholders. For example, the National Disaster Management Agencies, the gender units of the Ministries of Agriculture, of Environment. They are also having the private sector involved. And the idea is to advance in the policies and advance in the different initiatives that are conducted to really adopt a local frame of adaptation in different areas of intervention of Guatemala and Latin America. For example, talking about my country, I want to say, for example, that we were conducting a process of certification. That means that we were doing a training process with the National Disaster Management Agency, CONRED, and we were also developing a new curricula where grassroots organizations and traditional knowledge was implemented in this new curricula. So we were combining technical approach and traditional knowledge approach. That was so important because we were able to disseminate this training process as a regional training program adopted by CPPR, the regional body for disaster prevention in Central America. This means that now we have grassroots women leaders at the very, very local level that are members of the emergency committees of the task force for any kind of intervention they want to do, and they are also participating in the designation and dissemination of knowledge related to climate change, adaptation, and doing a lot of efforts on resilience practices. We were also trying to implement different partnerships, for example, for the allocation of resources. Partnerships with the Ministry of Agriculture, partnerships with the Ministry of Environment, and we were in that case trying to develop some initiatives that can be replicated in other countries. For example, we are going to see and we are going to be able to look in Honduras a video today that is going to be showing how the Garifuna leaders are conducting a process of implementing an emergency plan, especially with ETA and IOTA hurricanes. They were able to conduct the establishment of community shelters operated absolutely by grassroots women leaders and conducting different areas for recovery as well. So we are going to be as also how the traditional knowledge was implemented for the health system in some of the Garifuna communities in Honduras. We want to see the video, so I'm going to pass now to Nicaragua, where we are working strongly with women's cooperatives, especially producing coffee and organic farming. They are conducting a very, very important process of partnership with the municipal level, at the municipal level, because they now are trying to designate the allocation of 10% of the municipal budget going through the municipal council to the gender and empowerment and women's empowerment processes. So in this case, we need to have some other examples that being replicated like in Nicaragua and we believe that women, graduate women are conducting organic agriculture processes with this 10% of the municipal budget. We also want to talk about some of the initiatives conducted in Peru, for example, with the community, see the video with our friend Relinda, that is working right now in partnership with universities, training students on the disaster risk mapping process. So that means that we have different approaches and different reasons why we need to advocate for a local adaptation process. Explicitly because we want to be and having intermediaries in the process. We want to conduct directly the processes and without having channels of getting like resources in the middle. We want also to have a clear understanding of the climate risk and vulnerabilities. We know that some of our different approaches has been from top down, so we want to work now on bottom up approaches. And this is especially denominated and designed with some local led adaptation processes. So, and the most important thing I want to tell you and I want to share with all of you is how grassroots women leaders and communities are really getting power from being isolated and being victims in some of the climate threats and climate events. Some of them are really recovering with a lot of no, esa parte, quitemos esa última parte. So why we are working for making a real local adaptation process in our communities and in our countries, and for governments to be also working on that? Because we want to avoid intermediaries in the processes. We want to go straight from the donors or the funding agencies to the grassroots women's organization or community level. Secondly, we want to have a valuable knowledge of communities. We know that communities are the ones who are designing the interventions, and they are like working. No, we also want to explicitly work on clear understanding of climate risk and vulnerabilities in communities, and also working on local adaptation processes. We know really that we are going to have empowered local communities, and especially grassroots women leaders. Thank you very much.